Hi everybody, my name is Pluto. Welcome back to another commentated kaizo video. Today we're playing a ROM hack that you may or may not be familiar with. It's called Refined Buffed Paradox. It was made by Morningstorm. If you don't know some context, Morningstorm really likes KBR2, and he's currently working on a ROM hack where he's making, he plans to make 175 object edit buffs of iconic kaizo stages. Who knows how many he'll actually end up doing. 175 would be awesome to see, but this was the first one released. It's one of the few that's been released publicly and is actually fully openly playable. This is not the version that was posted under the video though. It's a new update which changes one jump, which I'll talk about when we get there. So as you can see, this is Refined Glimpse Paradox, which is the 15th course in KBR2. It's normally a pretty iconic hard stage because it has a lot of tricky jumps, 22 reds, it's very large as well, but Morning really took the stage to the next level, and you can see that already in the red coin count. The stage has a total of 44 reds, which is a lot. 44 is a huge number. Only 6 under Mario of Heaven, which is more so a testament to how ridiculous Mario of Heaven is. But regardless, the stage not only features 44 reds, there's also a lot of extra jumps that have been added. And you can see that already in the fact that out of the 4 reds we've gotten, pretty much all of them were just like something that you didn't need to do in the original. Yeah, the second red, the arch, you do that one's barely changed. But the first red was heavily modified to be more tricky, and then there's just 2 extra reds there that added some extra challenge to this. And that's pretty much going to be the theme throughout this entire level. There's going to be little reds here and there that add a jump or two that's going to really add up. No individual jump in this star is that bad, but when you combine them all, it becomes a really grueling consistency test of some very tricky, unique, and pretty awkward jumps that I'm very excited to get into. With that being said, here it is. Let's begin. I mean, we've already begun. We're in the 5th red already, but let's begin. Let's stop talking about the metadata of this stage. Let's talk about the content, the meat of this burger of a level. So, this 6th red. This red sucks. If you watch the highlights video I made, which I plan to make more of those by the way, if you watch that, there's an entire bit in that video dedicated to showing how awful this red is. It's really low down. You can see it's actually clipping a bit into the floor. Towards the end I was getting a little more consistent to the point where rarely I would even first try this, but yeah, this is pretty rough. This is a very rough red coin. I kind of despise it. But there, I finally get it. No big deal. My HP is actually not optimal. I rushed the heart section there at the bottom, so I only have 3 HP instead of 4. This doesn't really matter, but you do need some HP because there is going to be mandatory damage later on. So it's important that we have a little bit. Here we have this little area. Fall down here. There's a switch now. And the switch doesn't really do much. It just spawns this one block, which we can use to wall kick and hit the red coin. Get the red coin. I was gonna say hit the red coin switch, which is not a thing in this game. It is a thing in Sunshine though. So here we can see another change. There's this little extra section here which spawns a switch block. This is going to allow us to reach the area on top of the stage where you would get to star 4 and star 5, or star 5 if you didn't cheese it in the original. So that's pretty convenient. You can also see that the star spawn location has been changed to this area as well. It spawns here instead of on one of the lower platforms near the spawn. So, yeah. Here we reach the first major hard part. We have the lava arches. The lava arches are very infamous in the original Refined Buff Paradox because in that level the arch star is the hardest star that is not reds. So it's kind of like, it's arguably one of, if not the hardest star in KBR2 that is not a red coin star. And normally, you have the consultation that you don't need to do it in reds. However, this is Refined Buffed Paradox, so it's been buffed. That's what buffed means, it means it was buffed. Wow, this is really good commentary. Yeah, it means that there's been some changes. So, in this section here, what matters is how you enter the lava arches. When I did that first lava arch, I purposely did not get an optimal jump up the arches, and the reason for that was that if I got too much height, I would end up hitting the ceiling of the arches, which would make me... I would hit the ceiling of the arches before I wanted to pop out, which would make me lose a lot of height. However, on the second one, I actually do want the max speed because I do want to hit the ceiling, because I don't want to be too high up. This just maximizes the chance that I actually pop out the arch properly and can continue. This metal cap is just enough time to make it over. As you can see, that's the mandatory damage I was talking about. There's also the other mandatory damage to get to where the metal cap is. So those are the two things you really gotta watch out for. Here I tried to side flip into this wall. It wasn't until this very moment when I realized that you can just backflip into it. I don't know why it took me that long to figure that out, considering I do backflips like this all the time, but I guess it's just my classic Mabel tunnel vision making me not realize the very obvious solution to problems in front of me. This upcoming section is nearly identical to what it is in KBR2, so I might as well talk about well, obviously identical to the star. It's not actually identical to Reds because, like I said, you don't do this in Reds in a normal KBR2. So I might as well talk about something that might have been very obvious that I haven't pointed out yet. I'm using a hand cam for the star. The other day I got a webcam. It's a pretty good one. It's a Logitech, I think C922. I think that's the model. I love it. I love doing stuff with it, aka streaming. I haven't really done much else with it besides just like turn it on so that way friends can watch me play Clone Hero. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've used it on stream to have a little hand cam. And I don't know if this will be a permanent replacement to the input display, but I really like it. I think it adds a little bit to the stream. I feel like it makes me feel more like a human, and I'm a fan of it. I would like to hear what you guys think, though. If you like it, if you hate it, tell me. So here we have another thing that's completely brand new. We now need to go backwards to the arches, which is possible with the extra metal cap given to us. I just used some visual cues to be able to tell what parts of the level I want to aim for, and it actually works very consistently. This lava part isn't that difficult if you practice it a lot, and throughout the course of the grind, I was able to get pretty consistent at this. Here we have the good old KBR2 watermark. Albeit the 2 is a bit of a Pablo Picasso abstract 2. Did Pablo Picasso do I know he did cubism. I don't know if he did abstract art. I guess cubism is kind of a form of abstract art. So, anyways, red coins. This one. Here I take a bit of a safety precaution of looking down. The reason for that is because the day before this I had an attempt. I think it was actually the last attempt of the day. I died at corner physics there. So I didn't want that to happen again. So I was careful. Speaking of last attempt of the day, it's worth noting that the attempt that I got the star was the first attempt of the day. I literally just opened up stream. I did like 2 minutes of practice, decided that there was nothing I wanted to practice, did one attempt, and I got it. So, yeah. That's cool, I guess. I think this is the first time I've ever gotten a star, like a hard star on my first attempt of the session. This backflip's a little scary, but it's pretty consistent if you use a visual cue. I just use a certain point when like I see Mario like moving downwards. That works pretty well. Well, I can't really explain it. I'm not sure if it's actually when he starts moving downwards, but there is a visual cue. I'm just it's easier to know what a visual cue is internally than explain it to other people, I feel. I feel like that like with a lot of things. Like when I look at my hand cam, I notice that there's a lot of little motions I do that I don't like realize I'm doing, but are very just like second nature, I guess, and it's like not something I really think about. So it's kind of weird looking back at this and like seeing like what I'm doing with my hands. Alright, so we have some Goomba bouncing. This part of the stage you might not have seen if you've only played RGB, because normally you actually skip it, but here we can't skip it, so we won't skip it. This is a brand new extra jump here, using this little gap here to put a red coin. There's also some switches. This is a little tricky. There's a lot that can go wrong in this section, but again, practice makes perfect. This stage is kind of the embodiment of you need to practice it a lot. I was initially going to do this as a side grind during Everlasting Encore, but I very quickly realized that this stage was just something that needed like very concentrated effort to get. It wasn't something that I could just do on the side and eventually get. I had to actually put deliberate practice into getting good at it and learning how to do it and stuff. And by doing that, I actually got it pretty quickly. This grind was about 11 hours or so long, which is really fast for a star this difficult for my standards. So I'm pretty proud of that. I can be proud of how long it took. Especially since it doesn't really feel like a fluke because I had that one death at 37 out of 44. So it felt like I didn't just like get lucky like Night of Doom the perfect run. I just played really well very consistently for multiple days in a row, which sometimes doesn't happen. Sometimes you have bad days, but this grind was decently nice to me. Here the ceiling is a bit of a meanie. Once we're done with this section's kind of like the calm before the storm. There's going to be a major hard part, that being the Star 1 area. Which, that part's kind of a difficult section in the original RGP, but here it's been kicked up a couple notches. Here we can see why there's 2 Goombas in every hole. It's because you need to go through them backwards. And now we're back here, and there's only one way to go, and it's the direction with the 19th red. So now we've cleared out the Star 4 and the Star 5 areas. Now our route's going to go to the Star 1 area, and then we're going to go to the Star... Hold on, I have to think about it. I have to use my brain here. Why can I not remember Refined Glimpse Paradox stars? It's that area with like the stuff. I know Star 3 is there. What the hell is Star 2 in Refined Glimpse Paradox? I genuinely... Oh yeah, that one. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, look. I have not the best memory for a game I played in summer of 2019 because I've been playing this level instead. So my recent memories of this level are entirely this stage, okay? And when I do think about this level, I think about reds because that's what people care about. Anyways, we're gonna do Star 1, then Star 3, then Star 2. I'm sorry that took me so long to work out of my brain. I hope that was an enjoyable little aside because these wall kicks are not the most interesting thing in the world. They're very simple and very long. Giving me some Wallow Melancholy flashbacks here. Not exactly the best stage in the world. This red's a little bit of a sneaky salmon. Gotta sneak around there and get it. The main threat here is ledge grabbing the lava there. Just trying to do that, I guess. Just essentially just like exaggerate your motions to the side so you don't ledge grab the lava. And then I kind of curve like more inwards because I want to use my shadow as a reference point for if I'm gonna hit the wall or not. And that was just the most consistent thing, so that's what I do there. It's like essentially just like emphasizing like little directions to make sure I'm in the right place where I want to be. This tunnel full of amps is pretty intimidating, but there's actually not really anything too difficult about it. You can just stay low for the first 2 and then go high for the last one. And they'll dodge him every time. One more crossover section, and then we'll get to the fun part. Well, one of the fun parts at least. There's a lot of fun parts in this, honestly. I had fun with a lot of this grind because, well, for one, Refined Glimpse Paradox is just a great level. Any kind of derivative of it's probably going to be at least a little fun. And then on top of that, I don't know, it was just... I think a lot of the things Morning did were pretty good in this level. There were some things that I wasn't a big fan of, particularly this one jump that is actually what my PB died to, that I'm not a big fan of. But for the most part, I really like what Morning did with this level. He buffed it in a lot of ways that were pretty creative, were things that I definitely wouldn't have thought of, and it makes me very excited for the full hacks he wants to make out of these buffs. I feel like it's going to be a really interesting hack, and I think it will have a lot of stars that will appeal to a lot of people. I know object edits obviously don't get a lot of recognition because they're object edits. There's not really like, they're already like levels that people have played and know about just with changed objects, and a lot of people even look down on them, and I understand why, but I also think there is a level of effort that goes into them that at least should be considered. I'm not going to say it takes more effort than making a brand new stage, because it doesn't, but it definitely takes some care to make a star like this and have it not be awful. Especially since you probably intend to do them yourself. So if you make a bad star, it's gonna torture you for like a week. Or longer, depending on how hard you made it. Right, so you could do the wall kicks through the tunnel, but I found it a little safer to do that. It's worth noting that you can't just do that from a standstill, you do need to get a tiny bit of speed to make that jump. But just a tiny bit. Normally, if this was RGP, you would usually slide kick directly perpendicular to the box or to the wall. But here I did a diagonal, and that just sets up this fire spitter section to be very easy. Instead of having to memorize visual cues and setups, I can just do this. It puts me in a great position, and dodging the fire instead of being setup based can just be something that I do on reaction, which makes it a bit easier. Next up is one of the most tense parts of the stage, because it's a part where a single mistake will ruin everything. So here we have the star 1 area, except we do not have a shell anymore. Normally there would be a shell over that little, like, I guess like hook of quicksand, I don't know what to call it, I guess indentation, overhang? Overhang's probably the closest word. There's a box with a shell in it, but that doesn't exist, so we have to use that breakable box to help us get to this section. Once we're here, all we need to do is go over here, into this little alcove where the red is, and now we can jump onto this metal box. This metal box has a warp which will take us out, however, it will not take you out in safety, it'll spawn you on top of a cork box, very reminiscent of Stars of the Beast 2.5, and you will have to be careful about that. If you're wondering why I'm being so patient before getting up these, like, I guess girders, no not girders, these like, the thing that is shaped like the thing, before you go up these, it's because the swooper's scary. I have been killed by him in RGP before, not on this level, but, you know, the one it's based on, I've been killed by the swooper, so ever since then I've made sure to be careful around him. He's a scary bat. One more silly little thing here. We have to climb these little stepping stones up to this platform. I feel like there I kind of made that jump look really tight, but it's actually pretty forgiving. The main reason for the pause buffer is just that way if I get a firstie, I can jump back to safety instead of dying. I know the star has been very dense of hard parts, but going into the second half it's going to get a lot more chill, and the hard parts will be about as hard, but there will be less of them, and there'll be more breaks in between, so it'll be a little more relaxing. We'll be able to enjoy our time a little more. Made a bit of mistake on that QSLG, did not do it how I wanted to, so took a step back. Gotta wait for this Vanish Cap. This Vanish Cap is needed. In normal RGP, there's a Vanish Cap where we got the 18th red in the stage, but unfortunately that is not happening in this one. The Vanish Cap is instead all the way up here. However, we still need it because inside the cage where Star 5 normally is, there will be a red coin. I didn't have enough time to reach or to get outside the cage, but that's okay because Morning put a box of a Chuckya inside here, which you can use to clip out. Very nice of him. Thank you, Morning. With this, we have 24 reds, and now we can head over to officially the second half of the stage. There, I almost die at the hands of that Kurobame by letting him almost burn me. So that was scary. Dive on top of here. If this was normal RGP, this is where Star 2 spawns, I believe, but that's not the case here. It's not there's just a red under. And because of the red coin, you happen to have exactly enough HP to survive this. So that's pretty cool. I always like those like 1 HP survives. It makes it very tense and it makes it feel like you're kind of managing HP. It feels cool. I like when things make you feel cool because it makes me feel cool. And I like feeling cool in front of my friends. Scary Snuffit here. Just jump when he shoots, that way you can dodge him. Here I have a bit of a visual cue and then setup to get up there. It's worth noting that the way I did that little maneuver there was a little weird. The reason that I kind of like went around the side of the peg instead of going directly in the middle of the peg was because there's some invisible walls and collision issues there. So I just avoided them by going over the sloped part where I didn't find any. I think it worked pretty well, because never killed me. When I actually did that dive with the Vanish Cap, there was another invisible wall that you can hit diving onto the lava, but I could generally avoid it by hugging the wall and then holding straight forward. So that's why that one wasn't really a threat either, albeit it was very scary when I first hit it in practice, because I was like, oh shit, that's not a good thing. I don't want to hit that in an attempt. That would be annoying. You can kind of see that we've gone a full circle here. We've circled all the way back to this part of the stage. But now instead of going to the top where Star 4 is, now we're going to go over to the Star 3 path. And that's where we're going to find the rest of the reds, the remaining 15. I have to say that I like that in this object edit, Morning managed to essentially create a brand new route to the stage. I think it's really cool. It kind of almost reminds me of E4's Veneno, where there was that, instead of the warp, there was like that path through the blocks. And actually, a better comparison would be E6's Veneno, where the path of the stage is slightly differently ordered because the gimmick. I just think that's cool. I always like spins on things that are cool. That's why I'm so excited for Star Road Masters Challenge, because I just like harder versions of things that I like, and when like they're changed in creative ways and ways that like are just interesting. I just like when people change things and make them harder in interesting ways. I think that's really, really cool. And the stage is kind of the embodiment of that. It's a shame because it's very clear that not many people will play this hack. Not only because it has some issues, like some of these jumps are a little inconsistent and iffy, but also it's an object edit, it's not going to get the attention that other hacks will receive, and of course it's very, very hard. I think this is one of the hardest stars I've ever gotten. It's like right in between like Mario of Heaven and Night of Doom Perfect Run, I think is where I'm going to say that. That's subject to change. I'm not really sure exactly how hard this is, but at the moment that's how I'm feeling, so that's what I'm going to say. This Czech is kind of an asshole. He was in the way, so I had to watch out for him, unfortunately. Oops, the recording stuttered. That's annoying. Good thing I was streaming. By going to the edge there, I made the Chuckya like kind of stop following me. That made him kind of go away and not be in the way anymore. Here another pretty bad thing happened. I missed that firstie there, which meant that I landed on the platform with a dive. That also created some issues though because I had too much speed and I fell off. Thankfully, that had happened in practice, so I knew what to do, which was just hold into the platform. I spend quite a bit of time here, unfortunately, because I make a lot of mistakes and I'm kind of on edge because I don't want to lose the attempt to something stupid. But I get up there finally. Across this big pillar. And here we are. Now we're getting into this section. This little wall kick section, which in normal Refined Glimpse Paradox is pretty trivial. In this game is a little bit of an amp nightmare. You have some circular amps here. Thankfully they seemingly all get loaded in like the same order, so they all tend to be in like the same position every time, which is pretty good. I'm actually not sure if loading has an impact on where amps are, but at the very least there it was fine. It was pretty consistently that like pattern, which was pretty easy to find a setup for and get through every single time. Here I'm a bit of a scaredy cat and refuse to kill the Czechia, because I'm afraid. Or at least refuse to kill him fastly by like rushing into his back. Instead I opt for the slower, lure him around. Alright, I'm down there. Gotta watch out for that Kuromame, so I make sure not to ledge grab there, so that way he's not gonna be in my way. And we're up here. So, this should be pretty familiar if you've played Refined Glimpse Paradox. This is this section. I believe this is different though. Instead of a normal jump down, you instead need to jump off this block. I actually get a pretty bad jump off that block there. I landed on it very low and I didn't want to lose too much speed, so I jumped very early. I barely made it. I was very much expecting to die. In fact, I think in my attempt I said that I'm dead, because my expectation was very much that I was gonna die. But sometimes you get lucky. That jump right there is the biggest change in the level in the new version that was given to me. In the original, that jump either requires an extremely precise maneuver similar to what I did in this attempt, or it requires a firstie to get up, which is not very reasonable this late in the star. Sorry for the voice crack. It's just not very reasonable to get a star, or to get a firstie like that this late in a star. In a star this hard. It would essentially make it way more inconsistent and difficult. And it wasn't just a firstie, it was a very precise firstie, which needed a good dive out of it and stuff. It was rough, man. You would die to like every time. Grab that red for black with a backflip wall kick. And this pipe is actually not upside down, it's right side up, which means it's very easy to enter from below. If it was upside down, it would be very difficult to enter from below. That pipe is obviously the only way back, because in the original level you'd be completely stranded there, but if you're gonna put a red there, you can't be stranded, unless the red coin star is gonna spawn there, which it doesn't, and if it did, that would be really awkward. You'd have to route the stage really weirdly. The single jump works pretty perfectly there for getting down and being able to immediately double jump out, so it's used. Dive across. Unfortunately, I did not get the swag bonk. The swag bonk, of course, being when you bonk on the cork box, which saves time because you don't have to watch the animation of Mario getting up from heavy fall damage. It is the coolest thing ever. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, so this attempt is invalid, and I did not actually get the star. Because as we all know, if you aren't the coolest person alive, you are not allowed to get stars. It's against the law! Alright. Come over here. This jump's scary. I hate jumps like this. I hate jumps where you quicksand and wall kick and let's grab there. I despise them. I think they are the worst thing ever. Thankfully this one's pretty forgiving, but I still hate it. I very much remember when I was first playing KBR 2 that this section was like very notable, and now it's like pretty easy. It's funny because like KBR 2, like when I first played that game, it still to this day means a lot to me because it was just like, it was the game, you know? It was such a big deal, you know? When I beat it, it was like a huge moment for me. I was really happy about it. It took me over 3 months to beat it initially, and my only other extreme hack at the time was Night of Doom. Every time I hear the overworld music in KBR 2, Overworld 1, I get extremely nostalgic just because of how much that game means to me. It really is just like such a big deal to me. And other people, Morning also loves King Boo's Revenge 2, and it's one of the most beloved extreme hacks in the entire community. I genuinely just love the game, and being able to revisit its hardest stage in a way that it still was like became like another massive challenge for me was a really awesome thing. And I kind of want to take this moment to just be like, play KBR 2, you know? Obviously the final stage is very difficult, but I have a lot of faith that you can do it, you know? I really do. I believe in you. Alright. This jump sucks. This is the one jump that I fucking hate. This jump is horrible. So, this jump is very close to requiring a firstie. It doesn't quite require one, and in this attempt I do get a firstie. But oh my god, I hate this jump. It's why my PB died too. I do not like it. I do not like this jump. It is the equivalent to green eggs and ham. I do not like it. I will not eat it. You can't eat a jump, but I still won't eat it. I don't like it. It's bad. Okay? That's the point. I do not like it. This part here is a little scary. There's a switch. Gotta push it. That's what you do with switches. Unfortunately, I got a bit of a suboptimal come up the slope there. I did not want to kick because it's very slow. I want to just walk and slide, but that meant that I had a little less time than usual, which led to me making a lot of mistakes there. You can see it all over there that the movement is just really, really fucking suboptimal. It's really bad, but it worked. It was good enough. Here I'm a little bit patient because this next jump's kind of a big deal. It's one of those jumps where it's like, if you mess it up in a certain way, you won't die, but you will be fucked. So it's like a more brutal death. As you can see, there's a red right there. As far as I was concerned in testing, there is no way to grab this red from this platform without falling down and having to reclimb. So, yeah, pretty big deal. You do not want to miss that thing. You want to grab it. Actually, no, you would not be able to reclimb because you kill Snuffits to get over here. So if you miss that red, you are dead. Bars. I'm a poet now, or a rapper. Very important red. Very significant. There's actually supposed to be a Chucky here, but he fell down. Not that it matters too much, but he seems to always fall down. Alright, so this is the much tighter switch box. Yeah, this is just very difficult and tight. My movement here needs to be really good, which is why I'm kind of emphasizing being as fast as possible. My jump onto that cork box wasn't that great. I could have done it a little better, but it was more than good enough, and I was able to clean out the rest of it so that way I could make it with more than enough time to spare. It's just a very scary moment. You want to be very, very quick there. You do not have a lot of time. It's worth noting that the other major change that was added in this updated version of the game is that cork boxes don't break now when you like bump into them from under. So that makes that section a little bit easier, especially if you do intend it. It also makes some other things in the stage more consistent. So good change. We be loving patches that make the game have more quality of life. That being said, who's gonna make the kaizo patch that patches out firsties? I still want that one. I hate firsties. No more firsties. And at the very end of the stage, we have to do this jump. This jump, which I feel like when I was playing through KBR2 for the first time, this jump was a big deal. Like, it was like super precise and hard. What were we on back then? First of all, did I dream of that? Because this jump isn't hard. And second of all, if that really did happen, where we all thought this was the hardest jump ever, what the fuck were we doing? It's not that hard. There's so much wiggle room. I'm just confused, man. Very perfect though, we managed to get over here, and this is spawn again. We only need to climb through the stage one more time. We need to get the last 2 red coins, and then we need to grab the star. One of the 2 red coins is the one for going over here. When we started the stage we went to the right, because there was a red coin there, but there's also this red coin that's just peeking out the ground here. It's not as low as the other one, the 6th red coin which I complained about, and it's a lot easier to retry, so it's a lot less bad. That Bob-omb's a little scary, but thankfully Bob-ombs don't have anything that prevents them from falling off ledges, similar to Koopas. As in, Koopas have something that prevents them from falling off ledges, unlike Bob-ombs. So, it's pretty easy to just make them fall off. Here we are in the final moments of the star, with 43 red coins out of 44, twice the amount of the original Refined Glimpse Paradox. The stage has given me some form of brain rot because I have been unable to say Refined Glimpse Paradox without my brain trying to say Refined Buffed. It's a hard life out here. The last red is the last significant area of the stage that we have not visited in this journey, and that is the area with the pipe that takes you to the Star 2 area. And here, instead of the pipe, there's a red. In fact, there's no pipe to the Star 2 area because we got there with snuppets. Which, when you think about it, snuppets are kind of like a one-way pipe if you use them in a very specific context. And also, they're one-way, and also they don't go backwards, and also they can kill you. So they're actually not very like pipes at all, and that was a really shitty comparison. Here I do something kind of dumb. Instead of doing 3 wall kicks here, or 2 wall kicks, I do 4. Don't do that. It's very stupid. There's literally no reason to ever do that, so don't. With all the reds, we get back up here. It's worth noting that you don't need to come up here to make this jump, but it gives you more room to make it, so it's a little easier. And also you don't need to worry about the chromomming. Let's grab up here, and this is it. This is the final jump of the star. I really hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. Make sure to catch the streams to watch more grinds, and enjoy the reaction. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Bye. That's it. That's it. How did I just do that? Yeah, okay. Thanks so much for the 500 bits, mint. Whew. That one got my fucking blood pumping, dude. Yeah, first try. Holy shit.